Now you have to press the Got It button, so that'll clear that screen out of the way, and we'll get down to it. Again, as we do, starting with seated meditation. Sitting at the edge of your chair. Nasal breathing, in the nose, out the nose with your mouth. Eyes closed. Cultivating essentially a sort of X-ray vision or an internal vision of what's going on in your body, where you feel. Go ahead and mute everybody as well here. Where you feel your body sort of stiff and rigid, that you might be able to soften it. Also, where you feel yourself perhaps out of alignment, where you can apply a little muscular effort to put yourself in better alignment, but then you always have to return to letting go of that activity. So good quality posture is not something we have to hold. It's something we can relax once we're in that good alignment, and then the liquid integrity holds the body up. So we're just starting with that in the seated position. It's a little bit easier to experience because we're not so concerned about gravity and falling and whatnot, but we have to carry this same feeling into our standing. That's the challenge. So just another 5-6 breaths here. And our initial exercises here. Hands on your thighs, sliding them a little forward past your knees, drop the head and around and back. Reverse that, sliding the hands back, pull your elbows behind you, lift the chin and look up. And a few more at your own pace. Goal here being each of the 24 vertebrae getting a small amount of movement. The shoulder blades protracting, meaning spreading away from the spine as you round, and then drawing towards the spine, kind of squishing that musculature in the middle back, upper back. And feeling a loosening up, an unbuckling of grip and hold intention. One more. And then let's settle right into the middle, the in-between place here, into your seated rotations. Left hand goes forward, right hand slide back, elbow pull back. As you do that, turn to your right, and then reverse back to the middle and turn to the left. And repeat this a few times. With that gentle quality, that soft quality that just gently limbers up the moving parts. So it's not just your neck moving, right? It's your whole spinal column doing a small amount of rotation at each of the 24 vertebrae. A little bit of movement at each of those points, joints, equals a substantial rotation. by the end. As you finish your next one to your left, let that be your last, and come back to the middle. Arms hang, and just very softly, as you lean to the right, float the left wrist up, loose, light. And then that left hand dives down as the right wrist floats up, and lean. And lean. Just kind of teeter-totter, soft and loose. Again, the point here being looking for those places where you're grabbing onto your body and letting go of those. Letting go. So the hand movement is key, but David, make sure you're tipping your body. You see how I'm tipping over to the right here? And then when this hand goes down, this one comes up, I'm tipping to the left. The head falling to the left. Make sure your torso is moving a good amount. Last one over to this side. And then let's find the middle. Shoulder blades, I'll turn slightly sideways so you can see. They come forward. This is shoulder blades spreading away from the spine. Then they shrug up. They slide over the top and back and squeeze towards each other and slide down the back. So we're taking those shoulder blades on our back, our upper back, and protract, elevate, retract, and slide down. And this also should be moving your arms a little through space, but not because you're forcing it, but because you're loose through the arms and they're just coming along for the ride. And reversing that, shoulder blades go back and up, forward and down a few times. Back and up, forward and down, back and up, forward, down. One more, and done. Legs, bring your one knee up with the heel pulled towards the butt, push the foot out, bring it back up, set it down, switch legs, lift, push, lift, down, lift, push, lift, down. Continue alternating. The tissue compresses like an accordion, extends like an accordion, comes back like an accordion, softly lands. Compress, extend, compress, down. Last one here, extend and hold it there, point foot, flex foot. Invert, evert. Circles. And other direction, circle. Bring that foot to the floor, other leg, foot, point and flex. Invert, evert, where the foot just moves a little side, inside out. Circles. Other direction, circle. And yeah. Scoot once again to the front edge of your chair if you're not quite there yet. Swivel steps. Lift the ball of your left foot. Turn the toe and knees out. Heel out, knee in. Again, toe out, knee out. Heel out a little bit, knee in. And then finally, toe out. This should be your maximum. Walk it in. 1. Heel in, knee out. 2. Toe in, knee in. 3. Heel in, knee out. 4. And back to middle. All right. Do that again. Swivel step. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open. In. 2, 3, 4. Close. Let's do the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, open, in, 2, 3, 4, close, out, 2, 3, 4, open, in, 2. And there we are. Now from here, neutral legs about hip distance, torso upright, fold at the hips, bowing, sit upright, tip back from the hips, so this hip joint should be at an obtuse angle. You sit upright, it's at about a 90-degree angle. Then it goes to an acute angle as you fold. You feel a nice compression right at the hip crease, the groin, and then sit upright and lean back, tipping back, and upright, and forward, and upright, back, and upright, and stay upright for a moment. Now, standing up, and again, make sure you got your chairs on either side for balance. And from here, bring the feet back a little bit underneath, so you have an acute angle at the knee joint, rather than 90. Now you bring it back a little. Soft, fold from the hips. Once your shoulders and head and arms are in front of the ankles, then you're ready to just come off your chair, push through the earth, and rise to standing up nice and tall. Sitting down, it's soft. Fold at the hips, the butt goes back, head and shoulders and arms are in front of your ankles. Your butt is behind your ankles. They counterbalance you as you sit, and then you go upright. So feeling how right now your body weight's going through the buttocks into the chair, and then the chair is rooting you into the ground. So we want to change that situation before trying to stand up. So you can't just launch yourself up. You have to fold in such a way that you no longer feel yourself really using the chair. You're now using these legs. Then you can easily make that transfer. So that's what I notice people skip. And same thing here. You can't just fall into your chair. You have to fold, sink, but you're still using your legs as your root connector. Then once your butt is on the chair, you can transfer and make the chair that connection to your root. Then you fold and you make your legs that connection to the root. Then you can easily stand upright. Do that twice more on your own, please. Standing up and sitting down. The next time you're standing, stay standing. And let's do a couple where we don't sit in the chair. You just fold a little. Notice my knees haven't bent. And then sink like you're going down to touch the floor. And then push through the earth and just rise back up. Notice you can accomplish this without adding a whole bunch of effort in the body. First, you open up the courtyard, this space in front of you, and then you just slide down through that courtyard and then push through the earth and slide back up the courtyard. Effortless, tensionless. One more time. Open the courtyard up, sink through, push through the earth, rise back up. Great job. Now, stay standing. Tip a little bit forward towards your toes. Back to the middle. Into the heels, just a little bit. Middle. Toes. Middle. Heels. This is a wonderful practice, especially for just finding your middle. So noticing when you tip forward, because there's more foot in front, the body can actually lean that way. But when you come back to middle and find your heels, you don't lean back from up top. If you move from your middle, you should actually create a little bit of a curve, but yet you're back in your heels and your toes come a little bit off the ground. Forward and back. Finding that rock, but but never losing your steady quality in the middle. And then find the middle of the middle, just in between those two. And just make your way shifting softly into your right leg. Left foot being empty, can you lift the heel a little bit off the floor? Maybe even get to the tippy toes. Land that empty foot completely on the floor, and then just softly let your weight go over and down through the right leg, or left leg, I'm sorry. And lift your empty heel of your empty foot up to your tippity tip toes. And then back down and change. Moving from this middle, as you empty a foot, it's possible maybe, if you want to have your hand on your chair now, it's maybe a good idea, is that you could disconnect and place that foot back on the floor. Change, let the weight go all the way through, completely reliant on that left leg, and then lift, lower, change. Once you're over here, lift, lower, change. Lift, lower, change. Please keep doing that. So what you're really practicing here, sorry, is discerning. Now one leg is full, the other empty, lifting the empty, lowering the empty without putting weight in it. That's the key that people often miss, and then changing. When this is empty, it lifts and can lower all empty and shift. A couple more. So this is the number one skill. If you can do this, you can do many other things. You can step upstairs, downstairs. If you can rely, stay reliant as you do something with your empty leg without disturbing your balance, and then you can change and make this one the empty one, because a lot of times people their gait is asymmetrical. They rely more on one leg. So this is also evening out. Can you equally rely? Especially with Parkinson's, right? People usually say, I have a Parkinson's side. And so you have to practice helping to keep them as even as possible. Now, make your way over to the right side chair. Empty the inside leg, the right leg, and put it out in front, the heel touching lightly, empty. Notice I'm not way out there. It's just comfortably in front. Now, rock into that foot as if moving forward. Get to the tippy toe of the back foot, and then rock back. Tip of the heel, loose. Rock forward. This is a great one. If you need to have the hand on the chair when you do it, fine. But this is the perfect one to start practicing no hands, because your feet don't leave the ground here. The heel stays touching and the toe stays touching. But we're just working on rock, rock. Moving this middle forward in space, backwards in space. Remember, try not to be holding onto your arms there. Loose. Practicing relying on this loose quality. Let the body hang. Now let's go level 2. You may need your hand on the chair. Lift, lower, shift. Once this back foot's empty, bend the knee, lift, lower, shift. Remember too, if you're using the chair when doing the exercise, what you don't want to be doing is this, right? Use the chair to practice uprightness. So your hand can be on it, but you're not leaning off upright quality. That's at least the intention or the goal. Level 3, again, using the chair as needed. Lift, knee all the way up, all the way down to the heel, still empty. Rock into that foot. Back foot. Bring the knee forward and up. Reach it back. Toe touches behind you, still empty. Rock back. Up. Down. Make this right leg be full leg. The empty left leg can lift in front, reach back with the toe, and shift. Up, down, shift. Up, back, shift. Up, down, shift. One more. Now we're going to switch sides, bring the feet together, put the weight through the right leg, take a little side step over. Now you should be near your other chair here. Now inside leg should be your left foot out in front with just the heel touching. Weights in your back leg. Now rocking chair, shift into this inside leg. Back foot should be empty and loose. And then shift. Front leg empty and loose. Shift. Changing which leg you're relying on. Changing which leg you're relying on. Everything else is upright, relaxed, and at ease. And recognize that you can make this shift happen without your traditional idea of having to work. It's just softening. It's almost like falling through movement, but learning how to control that. Two more. Keep going. Now, level 2. So here, lift, lower, shift, back leg, knee bends, the heel comes up like a little flamingo, down, back, lift, lower, easy shift, lift, down, easy shift. Lifting and lowering without any weight going into it is key. Shifting with ease, lifting the foot and then lowering it, no weight into it, shifting back. Here, shift. Here, shift. Level 3, again, hand on chair as needed. Not only lift from the hip, but just let the knee bend all the way up. Let it softly land, heel, shift. Back knee comes forward and up. And then reach the toe back behind without putting weight in it. Shift. Up, down, shift. Soft as can be. Body upright. Moving from the middle. Easy. Loose. Let your arms hang. One more. And back. We're going to switch sides again. So bring that front foot next to your back foot. Shift into this leg, side step, and make your way over to this chair. Inside leg out in front, heel touching softly. Now we rock into this right foot. Left foot is empty. Let it swing forward and land with the heel touching, still empty, and then rock. And then we go backwards. Rock back into your right foot. Front foot is empty. Let it swing back, toe touch, and then rock. Rock. Wait for it to be empty. Swing it, and it remains empty as you touch the heel to the floor, and then rock. Changing which leg is full, the empty foot steps, then changing again which leg is full. Let's do it twice more. Rock, swing, rock. So this is the most like regular walking. Rock back, wait for it, swing the foot back, rock back. Rock, swing, rock. Rock back, swing back, rock back. One more. The other thing you want to feel is the richness of the ankle-foot relationship. So that each step is is like a rich experience rather than, let's say, like a cinder block smacking the ground. It's this like a rocking chair, right? Let's go to level 2 where we lift, lower, shift. Now this back foot being empty, we pick it up and step it up and over something, land the heel, rock, back foot, lift, lower, shift back. Now, this is the little tricky bit here. Lift the leg in front, bend the knee, and then push the foot back to touch the floor, right? And then rock back. Lift, lower, shift. Back foot up and over something. So pick up the foot and step over, shift. Back foot lifts and lowers, shift back. Up in front, bend the knee, push the foot back, rock back. Up, down, shift, wait for it. Then step an empty foot, shift. Back foot lifts, lowers, shift back. Up, tuck, reach, shift back. Now we'll go level 3. Lift, lower, shift. This back foot, we go heel to butt, knee up, foot forward, lower that leg, and shift. And then this back leg, knee up, reach the toe back, shift back. Now we just exaggerate. It's up with the knee, tuck that foot, reach it back, and then shift. Up, down, shift. Heel to butt, knee up, foot forward, angle, shift. Knee up, back, shift. Up, tuck, reach. Eventually, this becomes more circular and fluid. Becomes like a rolling, loping, sort of like, more like an animal, or like a deer walking its way through the woods, or a heron walking through a marsh, right? But at first we have to sort of learn a square version of it. Switching sides, come over here, level 1. So inside leg should be your left foot in front, empty. This is the most like regular walking. Shift, wait for the back foot to be empty, swing the empty foot, land the heel, shift. Shift back, swing back, shift back. Shift, swing, shift. One of the number one things I see people doing that get them in trouble is trying to step the foot too soon. So it's this transfer here. Notice I haven't stepped, and only now am I actually in this leg to the point where I could safely step. Same thing here. I got to wait until I've actually arrived in my new root leg before I go to step. One more, level 1. So it's easily overlooked because it's very subtle. It's very internal. This moment where now lift, lower, shift. It's waiting, waiting, waiting for that moment where this foot is actually empty, and then doing a little up and over step. Shift. Waiting for that foot to be empty before you lift it, lower it, shift back. Up, tuck, push back, shift. Front leg, lift, lower, shift. Wait for it. Nice up over step, shift. Up, down, shift back. Up, tuck, push that foot back, shift back. Lift, lower. One more. Now, level 3, again, hand on chair as needed, up with the knee, down to the heel. shift, wait for it. Once that leg's actually empty, then heel to butt, knee up, foot out, lower that leg softly so the heel touches. Shift. Back leg, knee comes up, toe reaches back, shift back, wait for it. Once that front leg is empty, then it could be safe to step it. Up, down, shift. And again, those of you that have been doing it a while, you might start to think of it kind of like this animal, like that heron walking through the marsh, where they can't afford to disturb the water, right? Because there's those fish around. So they have to place their foot through the water without disturbing it, change the weight without disturbing it, pick up this other foot, land it, shift. All right, if you've ever seen a heron walk through the marsh, there's this very interesting steadiness that over time we want to be cultivating. And back. Now, those are the 3 levels. Now we're going to walk along the runway. So I'm going to move my chairs back. You guys are fine to keep your situation as it is. But you need a runway. So ideally your chairs will be somewhere along that runway, or you have your walker that you can walk with. But we're going to do levels 1 and 2, walking there and back. Okay? So pick a foot, put it out in front, no body weight. Remember what I said, the main mistake is stepping prematurely a foot that hasn't been emptied yet. So we shift, wait for the back foot to actually be empty, then step it. Shift, wait for the back foot to actually be empty, step it. And if you can master this quality of actually getting a foot, one empty, one full. Let's go backwards. Be careful, shift back, wait for the front foot to be empty, step it back with no body weight, shift. Wait for the front foot to be empty, step it back, no body weight, shift. Wait for the front foot to be empty, step it back, shift. If you can master this interchange, this discernment, let's go there and back again, then eventually it can speed up where you're moving across the room faster, you're covering ground just fine, but you're not disobeying the law of empty, full, you're not stepping prematurely. Like a lot of people just kind of slam their way across, and that's where they're at risk with every step. Whereas you can see here, when I'm moving, it's still got that casual feel, but it's because I'm in one leg and not in the other, and then I'm in that leg and not in the other, that I can do that and keep my middle undisturbed. So focus on that. It's subtle, but if you focus on it, it pays dividends. Now let's go level 2. So lift and lower. Now we shift, and now it's up and over. Shift, wait for it to be empty. And this just tests how empty is that foot when you have to pick it up and come up and over something. It shows you, are you holding yourself up in your shoulders? Are you, or are you relaxed? Are you actually discerning one full, one empty or not? Now, especially going backwards with this version, this moment is a great challenge, that pushback of the foot. Shift, that lift, tuck, and then that pushback of the foot staying in your standing leg. Shift, lift, tuck, and then this right here, that's where people usually fall back into that foot. So try to step back and don't put weight in it, and then consciously shift. Up, tuck, push back. This is the type of walk we do for advanced Tai Chi moves known as repel the monkey. Let's do this one more time. I'm just showing repel the monkey so that you guys see how lower body movements like this become advanced Tai Chi. All right, find your way back to your middle between your chairs. Shogun, up, down to the middle, pause in the middle. And arms down. Back to one end of your runway. Sorry, I forgot. We're just going to stay here. So now side steps. Weight goes through your right leg, left leg empty. Out and in. Out and in. Out, in. Out, in. Notice, you guys, like Sally, you should probably be facing forward. Face forward here. Yes, you can see what I'm doing without having to turn your head. Out, in, and just the foot. Now, keep the foot out there, change the weight. Shift over to that left leg, and then shift back to the right leg. Feel how as you shift over, there's a moment where left leg becomes your support beam, and then right leg becomes your support beam. But even more than a beam, you want it to feel like a spring, a loaded spring that your body weight is connecting to the ground and connecting to the ground. One more time through the left leg. Then right foot being empty, bring it in and out. In, out. In, still undisturbed in the middle, undisturbed teacup on top. One more. Now right foot is in. Stays close together, change so your weight goes through the right leg, left foot is empty, and then change so your weight goes through the left leg, right foot is empty. And your feet are very close together. This one trains that internal mechanism of down through one, the other is empty, down through the other, the first one is empty. Now we put all that together for side steps. So left foot empty, steps out empty. Change so that the left leg has your body weight. Bring the right foot in empty, stays empty, and then change so the right leg has your body weight. Step left foot out, shift. Right foot in, shift. Out, shift. In, shift. Middle, undisturbed. Teacup, undisturbed. Everything else is loose. Let's reverse. In, out, change, wait for it. Foot empty comes in, change, wait for it. Foot empty can step out, change. In, change, out. So the key to this is step without shifting. So step without shifting your weight. Shift without stepping the foot in. Step in without shifting your weight. Shift without stepping out. Step without shifting. Shift without stepping. Step without shifting. Shift without stepping. Then eventually that shift, step can happen and again, be fast, right? So again, we're going there and back again. Some of you might play with this idea of faster, but not rush. So it's still step without shifting, shift without stepping, step without shifting. It's just, it's happening quicker, right? So you see how my shift and my step, but yet it's still shift and step, shift and step. But I'm not doing that. It's still got everything I'm talking about, but yet da, da di, da da, ba ba, right? It's happening almost simultaneously, right? It's got that smoothness to it. Let's go back the way you came. But if you can't do that and still be practicing the principles, just slow it down. Get shift without step, step without shift, shift without step, step without shift. Boom, 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 boom. And this is training this chassis, pelvis, hips, core, back. It's really training that the softer and looser you are during these movements. All right, back to middle. Now do go between your chairs. Close for a moment, hands come up and over. So again, that's what is a hallmark of Qi Gong practice, is that you do some stuff, then you stop doing anything and you come to a moment where you let yourself remember, okay, here's my middle. Navel, deep to the navel, is the energetic center of the body. So the Taoists and Chinese medicine people say. And then relax. Now, from in between your chairs, empty your right leg. Turn the right leg out 90 degrees. Bring it back to neutral. It's empty this whole time. Then internally rotate, pigeon toe. And back to neutral. Notice when you turn your right leg out, the pelvis turns a little bit. Your pubic bone points off to the corner a little bit. Then neutral, it's back to neutral. The opposite happens. When you pigeon toe, your pubic bone points off to this corner a little bit. And then back to middle. Now, skipping neutral and just go turn out, turn in. Turn out. Notice you're aimed to this corner a little. Turn in. You're aimed to that corner a little bit. But it's not something you're forcing. It's just natural as you pigeon toe. And let's do it the other side. Turn leg out. You're kind of angled to that corner. Pigeon toe. Slightly angled to this corner. Turned out. Turned in. Turned out. And turned in. One more. And back to neutral. Change your weight to your left leg. Right foot empty. Turn it out. Now, shift your weight. Keep turning the hips. And bring the left foot now right alongside the right foot. Change the weight. Empty the right foot again. Turn it out. The body turns a little bit. Shift into that right leg. Turn. Bring the left foot to match. Right foot empties and turns out. Shift and turn the body. Right foot empties and turns out. Shift and turn the body. Let's go around again. Empty. Step without shifting. Shift without stepping. Bring the foot alongside. And then shift without stepping. Step without shifting. Same thing about that simultaneous bit, like I was talking about. Eventually it can be as you shift, that foot empties and turns out. So that happens almost simultaneous. Same thing here. As you shift, it's already empty, so it can step. So the better you get at dropping that weight through the leg to the earth and freeing up one leg, the more you can move, quote unquote, fast. So around one more time to the right. Maybe you try that sort of simultaneous. Now we go to the left. Left foot turns out. First round, shift. Right foot empty, bring it alongside. Shift through the right leg as the left foot is empty, turn it out. Shift into it and turn. Right, that's as opposed to going like this. Kind of penguining your way around. You don't want to penguin around. You want to empty and then change. And then change. Go around 3 times. Some of you maybe now are working on that. As you shift, the foot is pretty much empty almost instantaneously. As you shift, the foot is empty instantaneously so it can step. As you shift, it's empty so it's ready to step. As you shift, it's empty so it's ready to step. Boom. Boom. Go around a 3rd time. Boom. So this looser body is able to be utilized without disturbing your steady middle. Now let's do pigeon toe. Right foot pigeon toe. So the hips turn off to that corner a little bit. Shift the weight and bring that left foot alongside. Change the weight, pigeon toe. Change the weight, bring it alongside. Same thing about that instantaneous. Eventually it's weight going through and the body turns sort of on top of each other. Change weight and body turns and foot comes in almost as one event. The weight goes into the left leg and I pigeon toe. The weight goes through and I'm turning, coming together. Go around again. Check yourself to say, is the foot I stepped empty? Or am I just clod hopping, going plunk, 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 which is initially what people are doing. Can you keep the body upright? To the degree that you can, the easier movement will be because your body's not having to hold you up with a whole bunch of overactivity through the back. A lot of times when people are feeling pain in the back with this, it's because this is happening. And you're going around and all this stuff is having to work 10 times harder than if you were here. Let's switch direction. Left foot pigeon toe and rotate. Pigeon, rotate. Again, not doing this. This will cause pain. This relieves pain and is easier. After you get around that 3rd time, stay facing forward. Now we put it all together. Right foot turning out. Shift into it, turning, and pigeon toe the left foot with the pelvis slightly turned. Then you get around again. Right foot turns out, shift and turn, pigeon toe. And in 4 foot movements, back to facing where you started. Do that again. 1, turn, 2, 1, 2. Once more, so 3 in each direction. Is the foot you're stepping empty, and does it remain empty when you step it? And then when you shift, do you have that other foot empty when it steps? And we're back. Let's go 3 times left. Turn out. Again, some of you might be working on that instantaneous thing where it's ba-ba. Ra-da. Da-da. Shift, turn. It adds a different quality, but it gives you an experience of how Tai Chi eventually slow becomes smooth, smooth becomes efficient, and therefore it becomes fast. But you have to go through the smoothing process of the Tai Chi practices. And we're back to neutral. Shogun, up over the top. Settle the hands down and through to the middle. Relaxed, easy, loose. And again, the Friday class, where we do a lot of Tai Chi movements and all this other stuff, we do Qigongs to open and close, we do all these other movements that open the spaces for you to take our walking practice and be able to feel ease. So they are practices that blend each other or connect and fuse to become one overall practice, right? So now we're going to do our slightly athletic movement. So shift the weight into your, it'll be your left leg, right foot empty. Now, instead of just rock and rock, you push off and advance. And then this foot is empty, push off and advance. Now, I'm not going up very much. There's a little bit of sort of like a little hump in the movement, like a little bit. But mostly you want to stay loose and soft and connected underground. Advance. Retreat. When you advance, the weight goes from this leg down and through, this leg remaining empty if you can. Back. Forward. Back. Right? Two more. Forward. Back. Forward. Back. Now, switching legs. So you change the weight so that this leg is your empty leg. It's empty. Advance. Retreat. Advance. But notice you don't have to tighten up. You can stay loose as you want and boom, shoom. Cover a bit of ground and work on a little bit of momentum, how to deal with that momentum, because there's some momentum that if I'm tight up here, it could almost knock me over. But if I let it go through me to the ground, then there's no problem. Through to the ground. Through to the ground. Three more. And there's this drag of the foot, but it stays in. Now, have yourself back enough from the chairs so that they're pretty out in front of you, because I want us to switch again to the first side, but do 2 forward, 2 back, right? So you can watch me once. 1, and then I bring this foot in, transfer again, 2, right? Then we're going back 2, back, drag that empty foot, change so that I'm in this foot again, and then back. So it's 2 back and 2 forward. Again, 1, bring it in, change again, 2. And we're going back 2. 1, change, 2. And we're there. Let's go forward 2. 1, 2. Back. 1, 2. Forward 2. 1, 2. And back. 1, 2. Once more. All right, it's like boxing footwork. Right? Now switch feet. Other one in front, empty. 1, 2. Back 2. 1, 2. Forward. Change into that leg so you can propel forward. back, change, back, forward. 1, 2, couple more. Undisturbed middle. Relaxed. One more. Now, this leg empty, side, bring it in, back the other way. Looks good, everybody. Now, make sure you're set up where you have your balance stuff, which you already should, but now we're going to do 2 to the left, 2 to the right. So it's side, bring the foot in, change again, and then side. And then we go that way. Side, bring that foot in, you got to change, so this is your full leg again. Side. Again. Out, bring it in, change, out. Step, bring it in, step. Careful. Out, change, out, and back. 1, change, 1. Great job. Have a seat in your chair. Self-massage, groin and front hips. This is the quad, very important area that tends to get stagnant. Then around to the sacrum and tail, up onto the love handles and lower back, thighs, front, sides, outsides, insides, back side, back of the knees. You go in and across the back of the knees and then go outer knees, fronts of knees, inner knees, fold and dredge the channels on the front of your calf area. So thumb on the inside of the shin, middle finger on the outside. Dredge and come back up softly. Dredge, dredge. And then back of the legs, calf area, down to the ankles. And then all the way up. And shoulder, arm, shoulder, arm, hands, and closing. Ceiling, one hand on belly, other hand, 3 breaths right here. All right. Thank you, everybody. Nicely done. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have any question or comment about that. Some familiar stuff with a few new ideas and concepts in there. Greg, how you doing?
I'm doing good. I have to leave now. I'm going to pick up Sally for her birthday.
Cool. Happy birthday, Sally.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, David.
Thank you. Thank you, Otto.
Yeah, thanks, man. Any thoughts or questions from anybody? Sally, you have to unmute if you're gonna say anything. I can't hear you. You turned your screen off. All right. Karen, anything?
No, it was good. Sorry. No voice. Yeah, it was good.
Cool. All right, have fun playing with it. See y'all later.
Yeah.